Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another... I just flipped my mouse over, literally just doing my intro. That's not a good start, and unfortunately things are about to get worse. So, for another Rage video, where tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching the halfway stage of Metallica's 72 seasons, and I'm going to give like a very short disclaimer just before we go any further with this. If there's at any point in this video you're going to be like seeing me wincing somewhat, it's because, well, my thumb is completely fucked. I think I've ever... Literally, it was my first day back at work 2 days ago, and towards the end of my shift, I either pulled a nerve so hard that literally it's almost constantly in agony, or I've maybe possibly like strained a tendon or something like that in my thumb. Because, and I'm not joking, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I mean, it's like the 18th of February right now. I have not had a good night's sleep all throughout February anyway, but this has been keeping me up because, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, the pain is somewhere around about 6, I want to say. But fortunately, I've had like a very long history of having a very high receptiveness to physical pain, mostly because of all the times I was in hospital when I was a kid. But that's another story. So I'm gonna do everything in my power to just enjoy myself, and that's the end of it. So that's that disclosure over. So now you may be thinking to yourself that hadn't I technically covered this before? Well, maybe, but honestly, I literally couldn't remember. So that's about as good as we're gonna get, I'm afraid. Also, this was the first single that was actually released off 72 seasons. So because of that, it's a little bit shorter than probably what I was used to. So let's just see what we get into. Because let me tell you, when I come to rank like all of Metallica's albums, 72 seasons might be somewhere in the upper half of the list. Because, and once again, ladies and gentlemen, there's not one bad song on this so far. They are somehow familiar, but actually a little bit unique, if that makes sense. So, let's begin. See what I mean? I will say anticipation is actually quite a very fitting descriptive for Metallica in the later stages of their career at the turn of the 21st century. So that's actually, it's fun. That's a beautiful way to actually kick it off. And outside of the fact it sounds pseudo like Hit the Lights, almost like just in terms of vocals. And as well as the verse, it has a very, very... So there's a lot of speed, and there's a lot of very hard tones in terms of like each riff somehow being able to be short enough, but also being able to be as comparable as it can be to the overall video. So there's actually quite a lot going on, and it's not one of those things that just has always made Metallica work, as well as we're all the way back in '83. So that's or '82, also I should say. But yeah, there's plenty of reasons why this stuff just works, because. Not just because of why it worked before, but also what its appeal is to metal fans
Exhilaration, frenzy, sensation, kindred alive.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and that was Lux Æterna by Metallica. And listen, as I've stated before, one of the things I'm actually loving about 72 Seasons is that it's pseudo a concept album, and it's pseudo Metallica doing practically what they've done best. Because when it comes to like Metallica like crafting like narratives into their songs, it usually works when they just straight up just they keep things they tell you enough about what you need. You know, they tell you the absolute essentials, and then they can expand, or they can use music to actually convey what they do. And this isn't something that's just lost, that's just got over Metallica. This is something that Iron Maiden, Slayer, you know, all the really big guys know how to do, and it makes sense because if it works, then you just do it. And you may be asking yourself, what is like the story in 72 Seasons, let alone Lux Æterna? Well, for those who don't know, Lux Æterna, 72 Seasons is the story of an 18-year-old man who's had a pretty screwed up childhood, and all this man just wants to do is make sense of it all and actually find the small glimmers of hope in his life that means that he can excel for the rest of his life. He needs to learn what about his past has worked, what hasn't worked. And as I've said this many times before, and it's starting to become a very repetitive theme on this channel, is that you should look upon every experience in life you have as worthwhile. You should never come out of an experience thinking, thank God it's over, I don't want to have to think about that again. Think about what you've learned from every experience you've had, good and bad. What can you take away from them, and what you can do for the rest of your life with it. And in the case of Lux Æterna, it's full of energy. It's full of it's full of very short, simple little ideas, from anticipation, emancipation, dying in the light, and this rusted empire I own, bleed as I rust on this throne, pierce me with torment, and all the rest that I own. It's describing, you know what? What does this guy want? He wants basically to be his own ruler. He wants to be the minority of one himself. And with each verse being so short, it's meant to say almost that, you know what, summarize all the lessons in life in like one word or less. Do that and you'll be all right. And in the case of Lux Æterna, having it be so short works to its advantage as well, because from a narrative perspective, you could say, have some like all the energy in the world be in short bursts and use that to go how far you want. And contrary to what I said earlier, actually there's lots of examples of Metallica's like shorter material works so much better for them, because it means that it's not about, you know, how much you can get. It's about how much you can get out of like 4 minutes or less, but also about what exactly they're teaching you. What exactly can you get from a song? Because listen, there have been songs out there where people have quoted entire passages of like giant novels and stuff like that. The Greatest Story Ever Told was, interestingly enough, ended with a very large stanza from the book that it was based on, but that Nightwish did. And it's great, and don't get me wrong, it's fantastic. But again, it's a very case-by-case basis, and depending on who's doing it, and again, what you can get out of it, that's just about all you need to know. And I think we've learned quite a lot in the span of just 3 minutes. So, hey, that's really good. That's a really good storytelling. Is about when you get it, when you know it, and then you could live it again. So anyway, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed this reaction video to Lux Æterna by Metallica, and I can't wait to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care, and it's also one of those things that even a year after or 4 seasons later is why it works again so well. Because think about possibly where you were when you first heard this, and what exactly in your life has changed, got worse, got better. You know what? Just a little something to go away with.